we're going to talk about getting gas. Okay. So a lot of times people go, I preach to the crew, got to wear headphones. And they go, but hey, when you do your podcast stuff, well, I don't. I use a over-ear hook. Now, I have a pair of $700 AKGs, but that's not a whole lot. But I came across these, and they're the Me M6. I tell you what, they got some pretty good. They're pretty good, especially if we're doing something like this. I really enjoy them, so I bought a set for the whole crew. Okay, now gear acquisition syndrome, gas. That's where we're at. This was $15. My AKGs are $700. But at the time, I seen somebody else had them, and I seen they were pretty nice, and I go, oh, I got to have one of those, or a set of those. And I got them. But you know what? Right now, yeah, the AKGs, they do other things. But for this, I'm okay. This is doing great monitoring. It's got a little bit of an enhance on the low end, a little bit, not a lot. Comes with this nice little case. Keep them in. $15. Again, I bought the whole crew some. Okay. Gear acquisition syndrome. Okay. My first camera, long time ago, I went in with another buddy, and we bought this camera. I think I put in $10,000. He put in a 6 or 7. Let's just say it was a $20,000 camera. And today, my cell phone, my iPhone, shoots better video than it does. And I don't have to have a whole bunch of stuff with it. That's where I'm going to come to where this is at. Okay? When you have, I work for a large company. We all know that. I have an unlimited budget for stuff I need. When I first got it, I go, ooh, I'm going to get me a red camera. I'm going to get me an RE Alexa. And I did purchase a red camera. Okay, but I noticed when I'm out doing stuff, so we get the red camera, we go out and we shoot everything with it. Sorry, I'm going back. I jump around a little bit. We get the red camera, we go out and we shoot everything with it. Bring it in, process it, put everything in 1080p, and put it on the web, or put it where it needs to go. After a while, instead of getting that big equipment out, mounting it, I would just use my GH5. After a while, I realized I could do more with my GH5 than I could with the red. Not technically, yes, the red is better in low light. Yes, the red has a better high dynamic range. But the red's not always readily available. Get it readily available. To where my GH5, and even better yet, my G85. You don't know how much of commercial stuff I've done just using my G85, a consumer G85 camera. How many shots I've done just using that. So the GH5 would come out more because it's smaller, more condensed. And I started realizing that, wow, every day I own this red, I'm losing money, but I don't use it on everything. Now, yes, if I was shooting a feature movie, yes, okay, But for what I do, no. So I had gas. Gear acquisition syndrome. I went out and I got the red, spent $70,000+ on it. And ended up using my GH5 all the time. So what I did is I did the smart thing. I got rid of the red, bought 2 more GH5s, and I used a GH5. I haven't even upgraded to the GH6 yet, or the 5S, the full frame, because I'm so used to the GH5. The GH5 does what I need it to do. I don't need to change it. But what happens is you'll go, especially with photographers or videographers, even with what we're doing now, I need this mic. I can't get this done without this mic. That's my first point. I hear so much online about, I was going to do this video, but I'm waiting for my microphone. I was going to shoot this video, but I'm waiting for my camera. When you know what, your phone is actually just as good. I'm not saying it's good for everything, but it's super good. So get going. People with gas tend to buy stuff, and then the old stuff is still good, and then that goes away and they don't use it anymore. When they could have did what they're doing now with, okay, I had a $70,000 camera. I was shooting everything on it that I could do with my $2,100 camera. But here's the difference. You drop a $2,100 camera, it's easier to replace than a $70,000 camera. Now, traveling. Here's another one, the traveling. Traveling is horrible. I had to have all my photography equipment. When I'm taking photography, I have a large format Hasselblad, and I use Nikon full frames. That's great. But the lighting and everything, I travel, that all has to be shipped. Now, when you do that with video, I've got light panels that need to be shipped. I end up renting them when I get there. But it's just so big. So you're traveling a truck, you see something, or you're traveling in a car, you see something, you got to jump out, get this big camera out, get all these batteries lined up to where I can do just as well with the GH5. Pull out of my bag, batteries already charged up, get 5K, get 4K 60, 1080p 120. That's what I needed. So I made a pact with myself that I'm going to shrink down my gear. Not as much gear, but I'm going to start shooting small. When you shoot micro four thirds, the lenses are smaller, everything's smaller. I went from 4 large cases to carry stuff down to 1 large case with stands and some lights. Everything else goes on board with me. Ship 1 case, all the rest is on my carry-on, just from shrinking to micro four thirds. Now, the IBS, in-body image stabilization, on the GH5 is phenomenal. Even today's standards, it's incredible. I got this infatuation for older lenses. Having in-body image stabilization, I can use those older lenses and not have to, put it on a gimbal or a fly cam. I can almost get away with just handheld. Matter of fact, most of the time I do get away doing it handheld. So a plus is traveling with the equipment is a lot easier because it's smaller. Okay. Let's step back and look at audio equipment. Gas happens doing ASMR. I don't have this. I don't have that. I don't have this. A lot of it comes to, you can hear somebody grinding a stump up next door. I'm sorry, but somebody's grinding a stump up next door. Nothing I can do about it. But I hear so much, and I'm sorry I'm bouncing around so much. It's just how I roll. I hear so much, I'm going to do this, or, hey, what camera do I get that'll make my photos look better? There's not a camera you can get to make your photos look better. There's ones that can help make it easier, but not better. That's all going to come to technique and knowledge, something you really kind of can't buy. I mean, you can go to school, but there's a lot of technique. Okay. Podcasting. Everybody goes, got to have a condenser mic for podcasting. No, you don't. You want to use a dynamic microphone. On my travel kit, I use 2 Shure Beta 57As. Those are super cardioid, so very forward-facing. But I did a podcast with a USP a couple years ago at a show. We did it in a hotel room. There was a housekeeper vacuuming the hallway. An air conditioner was on, and with these 2 mics and a little Zoom H6, you couldn't tell we weren't in a studio. Matter of fact, I'll put a sample of that in this ASMR video that's soft-spoken, storytelling, teaching, whatever you want to call it. I did all that when I traveled to LA. I carry a small camera like this Sony A6400, A6500. One lens, one small bag with the Zoom H6 in it, 2 cables, 2 little stands, 2 microphones. You couldn't tell we weren't in the studio. It was great. My point is, hang on. My point is, you don't always have to have the latest and greatest. Sometimes you just read the manual of the equipment you have now. You'll find out that it does a lot more. I notice a lot of people don't fully use everything their equipment can do. So first of all, read the manual. You'll find out that your camera can do a lot more than you thought it could do. If you're going to buy a new piece of equipment, make sure you can utilize everything the equipment you have does. And if you still need it, sell the equipment you have and buy the other one. Gas can make you go broke. If you go broke, it will make you lonely, because nobody wants to be with somebody that's broke. My last rant about gas. 360 cameras. Now, I use the GoPro Max for to put a little bit of 360 stuff, utilize that for work. Now, Insta360 has come out with a new portable camera, and it's pretty good. It's a good camera, but I can do the same things with my Max, my GoPro Max. Maybe it's a little. What I'm getting at is that it's all hype. They want you to go out and buy the new Insta360 from the GoPro, but they still do the same thing. Even though the Insta360 is saying you can do this now with stuff I've been doing. Okay, enough of that. A short little story. The time I ruined camping forever. Okay. I was shooting a music video in some different places. Out in Reno in the desert, Frenchman's Bar in Washington. No power. So I bought this 10 kilowatt generator, power everything. Wasn't real quiet. Had an engineer buddy of mine built an arrestor for it, like a muffler. This thing is super quiet. So they've been trying to get me to go camping for a while, the family. So we decided, my wife plans a family camping trip. And we're going to go to the Jedediah Redwoods up in Northern California. So I've got an old, not real old, but an old, probably about a 16-man army tent. And it's big. You can comfortably put 16 people in it with cots. That's how big it is. It's got a pole that goes up in the middle. It's all green, army green. It's got this floor in it that folds up. That I don't know. It's not wood. Might be Trek or something, but it's all covered in canvas, so the rubberized stuff. So, it's like you have a floor, and then this big tent, huge tent. So I go, okay, well, we're gonna go camping. So I tell my wife, my son and I, my youngest son and I, we're gonna go up the day before. Well, why? I said, well, because I'm going to take the big tent up there, and it takes about 6 hours to set up. So I want him and I to go up and set it up. And we'll have it all ready for you guys when you come up. And now, my daughter and her family, they'll bring their own tent, and my other son and his family, they'll bring their own tent. And the son that's with me, he's got his own tent too. But I got this big tent. So we got to the truck, and I load this tent on, and I load this huge generator on. Now the tent wraps in this big 20, probably 17 by 25 kind of cream-colored white piece of canvas. So you fold this tent up, and there's different parts to it, and you fold the sides up, and then you put them together, and you wrap it in this other piece of canvas with everything, and then you lift it and take it. It's pretty heavy too. So we put that on. We get that on the truck. We get the generator on the truck, which weighs probably about 400 or 500 pounds. I take a refrigerator with me. I take a king size blow up mattress that's about that thick. Really pretty comfortable for camping. And a couple of chase lounges, chairs and stuff. But I grabbed my HD projector and a sheet. My son goes, well, what are you going to do with that? I said, well, when the kids comes down to nighttime, we can kick back in the tent, and I'll put that sheet up on the side, and we'll watch some movies at night. My son, he just shook his head. He goes, man, that's not camping. So, well, yeah, it kind of is. So we go out there. We get this tent all set up. We get the generator off. We get everything going on. We got everything set up. Comes out pretty cozy. couple people over here in this campsite are watching us. A couple people over there were watching us. And I realized, I looked at my phone and I realized I have really good internet signal. Wow, that's amazing. I have really good internet signal. Now, my projector, my HD projector, hooks to my phone. And then I've got these JBL speakers, these, personal speakers, and you push a button and you can connect them together. So they're like, you can have surround sound, I guess. Well, I brought those too for inside with the kids. And I had my son climb a tree. And he hooked a rope on over here. Then we hooked a rope on over here. And we strung that cream-colored, that white canvas up. And then we tacked it down at the bottom. So effectively, I had a huge movie screen. And then nighttime came around. We sat down. I had a beer. At the time, he had a Coke. And we set the projector up and turned the generator on. Remember, it's really quiet. And we projected a movie up there. And we watched, I think it was something different. But anyways, it was PG. It wasn't like an R-rated movie or anything like that. So some people come walking by and they go, "Hey, Dad, that's pretty neat to watch a movie." Go, "Hey, well, you know what? Grab a couple chairs and come sit down. We got beer over here and everything like that." So we got those guys. So that first night, we probably got about 8 or 9 people with us watching this. My wife and the kids show up the next day. We're enjoying it. My wife's kind of scoffing about the video, the movie screen. But the nighttime came around. I set up for the kids to watch. I don't remember, Power Rangers or something. And about 8 or 9 of those same people came back. And then the next night we played a different movie, but this time we waited a little bit later and all the kids went to sleep. I think I played One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. And we had some more people. By the time we were there for 5 days, by the time the last day came, there had to be 30, 40 people showing up. They all brought different, we had chicken, food, and stuff like that. And everybody's sitting around watching a movie, conversation. I mean, we even made friends that we keep in touch with today from that one trip. That was an interesting trip. That's it for me. Till next time.